Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today we're doing another side-by-side comparison, and this is of the best in each ecosystem. We have the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition versus the Surface 2. Now, this one is pretty much the top one on Android, and obviously this one is pretty much the best of the best in Windows RT. Now, today we're going to see which one really is going to be better for you and your uses. Although I am the Android guy, I always give credit where credit is definitely due. So let's see, in terms of categories, which one is the best for you. Now, first thing we always go over is look and feel. So how each company designed their product and how it turned out. With the Samsung, it is more of a traditional tablet, I would say. So you have, very thin, very lightweight, very easily and portable. Nice leather-like backing or whatever you want to call this, but it just feels really premium, especially compared to a lot of other Android tablets out there that are still using plastic. So really good, or regular plastic, whatever you want to call it, that really does a good job of feeling nice and premium. Very lightweight, easy to hold with one hand, which is not easy for all 10-inch tablets. So really nice and very convenient for the most part. So I really do like that, and have to give credit to Samsung for giving a really good look and feel with this tablet. On the Surface, it pretty much is last year's model with a different color. So this one's called the Magnesium one, and it's pretty much last year's model. No real change into it. So definitely something I wish it would have just been a little bit different besides color. Would have saw some difference in the product itself. Not that it's a bad design, and especially always love the kickstand from last year, and I have the new kickstand, which we'll get into later. But overall, it's for the most part the same as last year's model, and for that reason I have to award the better look and feel for the Samsung. Just obviously going to be a lot lighter and thinner in comparison, and definitely for taking it around more easily, the Note 10.1 will be the better one. When it comes to web browsing, the first thing we always take a look at is the screen quality. On the Surface, we have a 10.6-inch 1080p screen, which is obviously going to be quite good at 208 pixels per inch. On the Note, though, we just really do take it to another level. It is a 10.1-inch with a 2560 by 1600 inch screen, so very much beyond 1080p. And also, of course, it has a 299 pixels per inch. So the screen quality will be clear on the Note versus the Surface. But now let's check out the respective web browsing on both devices. So let's check a look and see how it works. Now, these are very heavy websites, so it could take a little bit. I use more heavy-duty websites simply to find out which one really does do better in terms of straining on the website. And let's actually see, so I can see when both of them are finished. And did the Surface finish? So it looks like the Surface is done, I believe. Yeah, so the Surface is done and the Note is still loading, which is to be expected in terms of the two web browsers. Generally, obviously as this is stock Windows, basically it should load quicker than compared to an Android device or an iOS device. So now let's check out in terms of how each one loads on a web page. So the Surface seems to have the same kind of thing that iOS has, which is you can't really scroll all the way down very quickly. You have to kind of keep tapping it until you go to the bottom. The reason why I always say is I like that is because of the fact that if I wanted to, say, go to the Contact Us or anything like that on a website, it's a lot easier to just do that on Android. It's very quick in terms of how quickly you can go right to the top and bottom. All right, now let's try pinch to zoom on both devices. Alright. Responsive on both. And now let's try double tap. sure everything's zoomed out. So the Surface is going to be better for web browsing. If you're just going to go straight out web browsing, it really is very well done. And although this is the stock Internet Explorer, if you do use the desktop version of Internet Explorer, you can still use split screen, whereas on the Note, of course, you can use Chrome and then the stock browser or any other browsers that do split screen for the Note. So both are really good overall and both have a really good experience, but overall the Surface is going to be better. Now when it comes to music, both speakers are laid out the same. Both are on the top corners. Although the Samsung ones are a little bit bigger, but are they louder? Let's take a look. First we're going to play on the Surface, then on the Note, then on the Surface, then on the Note.
All that money don't equal the price of fame. From LA. But all that money don't equal the price of fame. From LA to New York, Seattle to the Bay. West Coast, night flights to Oahu, late. And you travel down Vegas, I'm a boy with a dream, had my head in the clouds. Now I'm sleeping first class, got a bed in the clouds. Hit my pops to pick me up, and he said he was proud. King shit with a beanie. Yup, and he said he was proud. King shit with a beanie on instead of a crown. Yeah, counting on my blessings.
So hopefully you could easily hear that. The Surface just gets blown away by the Note 10.1 in terms of sound quality. The Surface speakers are very, not muffled, but they sound good, but they're just really, really low, and they just don't have any kind of amp to them, I would say, which is the most disappointing thing that I would say about the Surface in terms of sound quality. Now when it comes to video quality, both these tablets are going to do at least 1080p, but there are differences within the screens themselves. Let's take a look at those differences.
Come on, let's go. Good trade or bad trade?
I was desperate.
So, wait a minute, the analyst says no. I gotta go.
The new Galaxy Note 10.1 allows you and everyone in your family to have separate user profiles on the same tablet. It keeps you logged into your favorite apps, keeping your personal files personal. It knows what you care about most, so everything you love is right there when you turn it on. Now featuring over $600 in added value, including Samsung Hub and Google Play.
Okay, so that's funny that came up. The main thing is that I have to talk about with these two video qualities. First of all, I use Samsung commercials because they don't get flagged before anyone says, "Oh, fanboy." So yeah, that's the first thing. Second thing is both are really good at watching videos. It's really kind of hard to pick between one. So I will give the edge to the Samsung just for having the better screen quality overall. And I would say in terms of the apps for split screen, you can watch videos better on the Note than you seem to be able to on the Surface for right now. And that's just because not all apps are made for the half screen yet, including Mail. Mail actually looks better on this screen where it does on this screen while you're watching a video or while you're web browsing even. It just doesn't look as nice on the Surface, kind of like Microsoft still has to tweak that. So for that purpose, I will go for video quality slightly above the Samsung, although that's a very slightly. Now, first of all, when it comes to both camera interfaces, I would say that Samsung definitely has the edge. But again, they've been doing this for a long time. They basically brought over their entire, or for the most part, a huge plethora of their photo taking capability from their phones to their tablets. Whereas Microsoft, it's very simplistic, which is very nice. You have these three at the bottom. If you want to switch cameras or exposure, you have that ability to right here and set a timer. But other than that, it's not too fancy. I do like the fact that it kind of has a built-in best photo, which is basically it takes a bunch of shots right a row before and after you tap the camera, kind of like it's always focusing. However, the outcome isn't as good. So as we actually go to the photos, we can easily see that when it comes to quality, it's just almost always fuzzy. And this was the best picture of this one. I tried to stabilize it many times, but maybe it's the weight that it's hard to hold correctly, but it's just definitely not on the same level as the Samsung. On the rear cameras, we have a 5 megapixel and an 8 megapixel, so as we can see, just really, it just does a much better job with the Samsung in comparison to the Surface. However, the front cameras was interesting because the front cameras is where the Surface has an edge. The Surface has an edge in terms of it's going to be a 3.5 megapixel, I believe, versus a 2 megapixel or 1.9 megapixel. But in terms of the clarity, actually, the Surface wasn't as good as I expected. I expected it to be, really well off, and it does look clear, but it doesn't seem to take photos well. So I think for Skyping this would be good, but for taking photos, the camera just isn't there. Even in terms of light reproduction, just kind of getting that exposure right, the Note just definitely beats it, which, I mean, this has been almost every tablet we've gone against with the camera, to be fair. So in terms of photo quality, it will go to the Note. When it comes to gaming, there just is no comparison whatsoever. The Surface gets blown away by the Note 10.1. It just, graphics card and processor you could argue. However, in terms of performance and actually having a selection of games, if you are a gamer, you want the Samsung Note 10.1 and you don't want to go anywhere near the Surface. It is just not made for gaming whatsoever. I do not recommend it for any gamer out there. So for that purpose, I would recommend the Note 10.1 for gaming over the Surface. When it comes to battery life, both tablets hold their own fairly well. Although overall, I would say maybe just a half an hour to an hour longer on the Surface I generally get. Both tablets have a really good standby time, and both do drain respectively when you're using certain aspects. But I feel that the Surface sometimes gets closer to the 10-11 hour mark, whereas this one generally gets to the 9-10 hour mark when using it most of the time. Both will easily last you over a day, no problem, and both will even run into the 2-day markers. But overall, I would recommend it if you're just getting the best of the best battery. The Surface is, again, just one of the best batteries I've seen out there. Now, extras. Extra was a very, very difficult category. As we know, the Note generally always wins the extras marker, simply because it has a lot of extras. You have an IR blaster, you have expandable SD card slot, you have an S Pen, which is, my opinion, the best digital stylus pen out there, even better than the Surface Pros. So it has a lot going for it. It has split screen, it has a lot of things going for it. But in comes the Surface. Where it just cannot be denied for its extras. Namely, the biggest extra. So it has, of course, the expandable memory as well. It has the kickstand built in, which is a huge plus. But the two ones I cannot deny was, one, the USB. The fact that it has a full-size USB, so you can plug things in like flash drives, hard drives right away, no questions asked, very easy, is really nice. Now you can't get the adapter for the Note to be able to do that, but you still have to get the adapter. This is built in. Second, where it really kind of took over, and I could not deny the Surface, was Office. You have Office built into this tablet, which is a huge thing for any kind of student or business worker to just have Office, full Office, well, for home and student built in is really nice. So for that purpose, I cannot deny that the Surface would be the better for the extras category. Now, when it comes to price point, these two definitely start off at a different price point. And the Surface does have the definite advantage. Surface 2 starts off with the 32 gig magnesium model at $449, whereas the Note 10.1 2014 edition starts off with 16 gigs for $549. Now, it is important to note that the $549 price point offers 64 gigs and the $599 offers 32 gigs. However, let me clarify something. You really are getting closer to the 16 gig mark with this and the 11 gig mark with this, or yeah, approximately 11 gig mark with this. For the 64 gig, you are getting closer to, again, 30, probably I want to say 38 gigs on that one. Or 48 gigs on that one, and this one of course would be about 28. So although it seems like it is double, it is closer than the numbers would show you, just because Microsoft's OS does take up more than Android's OS. However, the thing cannot be denied that the Surface is going to give you more for the price point. With this price, you can actually get the Surface with the keyboard, which is a huge add-on of course, and a very lovely add-on, and that more than makes up worth for the price. So for the best bang for your buck, the Surface 2 is the definite better choice. Alright, let's tie them up and see who won. So when it comes to the look and feel, it will go to the Note 10.1, just lighter, thinner, narrower, and just a lot more easy to hold. When it comes to web browsing, no surprise there, Surface does have better web browsing. You have Internet Explorer versus mobile web browsers, which is still going to be better. Music and movies, overall go to the Note 10.1. Music was no contest. Movie was actually really close, but overall I just saw in most videos it was just better to look at on the Note. For camera quality, the Note just definitely takes it easily. The Surface, one of its biggest weaknesses is the camera, until you get to the biggest weakness, which is gaming. Gaming is just not made for the Surface. It's just not good for it. There's no plethora of gaming apps, so I don't recommend it for any gamer. When it comes to battery life, the Surface will take that as well though. However, because it's going to have overall a little bit better battery life compared to the Note 10.1. Both are going to get you through the full day, but both don't last as long as each other. When it comes to extras is going to go to the Surface. That full USB and Office, that's really what it comes down to, where the extras category wins for the Surface. Price point, Surface is $100 less compared to the Note 10.1. You cannot deny that, and for bang for a buck, it's going to be $100 less. So when we tally them all up, the Note 10.1 takes it by 1. Now this is a really close one, and obviously what it comes down to is if you're doing it for web browsing and Office type work, so if you wanted to use something with Microsoft Office, the Surface is your better choice. However, if you really want an entertainment value such as music, movies, gaming experience, and still with its really well off extras itself, you're going to want to go with the Note 10.1. It's the better tablet, whereas the Surface leans more towards the better laptop really. So it depends on what you need it for. Both are great devices and both will go a long way. Hopefully you liked this and found this informative. Please give a thumbs up if you did. And thank you for watching. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.